A, we love math, A, we love math, A. Every time we divide, we already know the path, A. Then we multiply, all we gotta do is roll the die, A.
Hey guys, let's go over 1.52 solving quadratic equations with irrational roots. You know, sometimes your parents might seem irate or really upset or irrational, but you'd rather be rational. Let's go ahead and do this complete with me. This is example number 2 in the textbook. And this is what our example is. X squared plus 24x plus 144 equals 192. Let's go ahead and do the same thing we did in the last problem that we did. Let's go ahead and factor this left side here. A is 1, B is 24, C is 144. So A times C is going to be 144. The B value is 24. And you'll notice that these numbers have been identical. Doesn't always work that way, but in this case it is. 12 and 12. So that represents 12x plus 12x is 24x there in red. So 12x, 12x, 1x squared, 144. Greatest common factor here is an x, 12, x, and 12. So we have x plus 12, x plus 12. Let's put that together. X plus 12 squared equals 192. Remember, this is isolated, which basically means there's nothing in front. In some ways, if you think about what we're doing here, we're solving for x, we're doing PEMDAS backwards. So we're going in this direction, so there is no addition and subtraction by those yellow lines. There's no multiplication or division. So in some ways, we're doing this, which is the exponent. So let me go ahead and show it to you. There's a 2 in there. It's an invisible. This is gone, gone, gone. So you're left with x plus 2 equals the square root of 192, which is 64 times 3, 192. So this will break down to 64 times 3. And remember, I'm going to put this plus or minus right here so I don't forget it. X plus 2. The square root of 64 is 8, and the square root of 3 cannot simplify. So how did I get, remember you just put down all your factors. 46, 90, 96, 3, 6, 18, 1, so 3 goes in 6 times, 18, 1, 4, and you'll see that 16 goes in 4 times, 4 to 16, 3s goes in 8. So what I wanted to show you was this was the largest perfect square. That's why I chose 64. Okay, this is new. And so let's go ahead and just do our 2 equations here. You have x plus 2 equals, let's do positive 8 radical 3. And x plus 2 equals negative 8 radical 3. Okay, what's different here is, oh, that's a 12. Good job, Mr. Ring. Okay, so if I subtract 12, this is multiplication, so it actually goes right in front. X equals negative 12 plus 8 radical 3. Subtract 12, subtract 12. Okay, again, it's not negative 20 right there. That's what I'm trying to point out. Okay, so I'm not saying this is our answer, but I do want to point this out now. They call this one in the green box, they call this an exact answer. Exact answer. Why is it exact? Because you don't do any rounding or estimating. Does that make sense? So let me show you guys how to evaluate that. Negative 12 plus 8 radical 3. So negative, so that's not the blue math operation size, negative 12 times 8. Radical is the left button in orange. It's in red there, so you have to go out. I did that wrong. Negative 12 plus. Okay, you can press enter and you'll get, it doesn't tell us where to round, so 1.86 is fine. Alright, remember our shortcut, just press second enter and just change that one to a minus. Now that one's going to be a subtraction sign. See the difference? Alright, now I got negative 2586. So my blue answer, negative 12 plus 8 radical 3 gave us negative 25.86. No, that was a black answer, I can tell. And then this one gave us x equals 1.86. And remember, what we're all trying to do here is basically I have this parabola, and this blue answer here is right there. And this black answer is right here. Remember, that's the whole goal of what we're doing. Alright, go ahead and just did this part. For questions 7 to 12, complete 3, so skip, that means skip 3. Alright, let's go over question number 7. Let's do the same thing here. We're just going to factor this. There's our A, B, and C. So A times C is 36. Our B value is 12. And I think those two numbers are going to be what? What do you think? I think 6. It splits it there, so I'm going to add x. 36x squared always goes in the top left, bottom right. Let's go ahead and factor this. Go in this direction, my greatest common factor is 6x. Remember, if you can't figure one out, it's going to be plus 1. 6x plus 1. And you can always multiply, right? 36x squared, 1 times 6x, 6x, 1, 1 is equal to 1, and 6x times 1 gives you 6x. Okay, so we have 6x plus 1 twice. And we can just write that together. Squared. Okay, remember, it is now isolated, so now you can take the square root. And what's going to happen in here. So this 2 and radical are gone. So you're left with 6x plus 1. Square root of 18 is 9 and 2. See this? And the square root of 9, remember that's two identical numbers, is 3 and 3. And these guys can come out. There's a pair of them, but you only see one number. Does that make sense? So 18 is 3 radical 2. Okay, this one's getting a little bit complicated. Okay, so here I have my plus or minus. Okay. Remember, solve for x, you're going to subtract first. And that's actually going to go right in front. So it's going to be negative 1 plus or minus 3 radical 2. And the last thing is divided by 6. So those are my two answers. Negative 1 plus 3 radical 2 over 6. And this one is negative 1 minus 3 radical 2 over 6. Alright, let me get my negative 1, 3 radical 2 over 6. Negative 1 plus 3 radical 2 over 6. Negative 1 plus 3 radical 2. Try that again. Alpha y equals negative 1 plus 3 radical 2 over 6. Gives me 0.54. Oh, here's some good news. We can keep that. That's what the book wants. It does not want a decimal. So, yay. A cleaner answer is if you did the circled one. But it's irrational because it's going to be decimals and it keeps on going. Alright, number 8. Let's go ahead and factor the left side. A, B, and C. So A times C, that would be 25 times 16. I have a calculator here. 400. My B value is 40. So what's nice is right now the number's been the same, 20 and 20. So 20x and 20x. 25x squared. 16. That would be 5x plus 4. 5x and plus 4. So there you have a perfect trinomial square. Alright, I'm going to get rid of the exponent by taking the square root. Boom, boom, boom. So 5x plus 4 equals, square root of 28 is 4 and 7. So that'll become 2 radical 7. Now remember, you have to have a plus or minus. If you get kind of stuck on this next part here, I want you to think about it like 2x. Now, if I subtract 4 here, you would not do something like this and say negative 2x. Why is this wrong? Because 2x and negative 4 are not like terms. So you would not do something like negative 4 plus or minus 2 because they're not like terms. Does that make sense? So basically, you're like, well, what happens? It just goes right in front. Negative 4 plus or minus 2 radical 7. And then if we just divide by 5 here, That's our answer. Write it clean. Now, these numbers here, I'm just going to point them out to you. If the 4, 2, and 5 were all even or odds or say multiples, then you can simplify there, but that's our best answer. All right, let's take a look at number 9. Let's factor the left side. Left side. A, B, C. A times C is 100. Our B value is 20. The two numbers are going to be 10 and 10. So that's 10x and 10x. 25x squared goes right here. And the 4 always goes over here. Let's go ahead and take out our greatest common factor. So I have 5x. It's a plus 2. 5x and plus 2. Remember, you can always check your answer by multiplying. 5x, 5x, 25x squared. 2 times 5x, 10x. 2 times 2 is 4, and 5x times 2 is 10x. So you have 2 of these, which gives us 5x plus 2 squared. The left side is now isolated, so now we can take the square root of both sides. Two, radical are gone. Okay, let's pay attention here now. Square root properties, so plus or minus, square root of 75 is 25 and 3, and square root of 25 is 5. So that becomes plus or minus 5 radical 3. Okay, remember using PEMDAS backwards, we're going to subtract 1. This is going to give us 5x equals negative 1 plus or minus 5 radical 3. And then we're going to divide by 5 here. You're going to get x equals negative 1 plus or minus 5 radical 3 over 5. Okay, I'm going to box this to show this there's our answer. A couple things you're not going to do is you're not going to cancel the 5s here. The reason why you would not do that is because if you separated it, negative 1/5 plus or minus 5 over 5 radical 3. So it would make sense to cancel your 5s, but that would leave you not negative 1 plus or minus radical 3. It's negative 1/5 plus or minus radical 3. Does that make sense? So, okay. Number 36. Let's go ahead and factor. A, B, C. A times C is, whoa, that's going to be a huge number. Why would they do that to us? No. 36 times 16. Wow, 576. Okay, the trick we've been doing is what's half of 24? Half of 48 is 24. And you take the square root of 576. I'm going to put a calculator here. That is 24. So I got 24x, 36x squared plus 16. Greatest common factor in this direction. I'm going to say 6x. And the reason why I say that is because here's my strategy, guys. These on the outside have been the same, right? So 6x times something up here has to equal 36x squared. Well, the only thing that can happen is a 6 or 6x. This direction, I think it's a 4. Yep. How did I know that? Because 4 times 6x equals 24x. So, I see. It's okay, I made a mistake, but not a mistake, but I want to show you guys how math is forgiving. Did you hear what I just said? Math is forgiving. Why is it forgiving? I made a mistake. Not a mistake, but it'll make my life easier. Watch this. Well, you'll see it at the end. Okay, so let's get rid of this here. 2. Bye. Alright, square root of 12. 4 and 3. 2 radical 3. And don't forget the plus or minus. Okay, so I'm going to subtract the 4. It's going to go to the in front of the plus or minus. 6x equals negative 4 plus or minus 2 radical 3. And let's go ahead and divide by 6. Okay. Now, if you put this puppy and you would get a decimal, your decimal is going to be the same. So reducing a fraction, you know, something simple like 1/2 and 2/4 are equivalent fractions. If you get them to decimals, they're both 0.5. So now I'm going to show you guys how to reduce this fun puppy. Negative 4 is negative 2 times 2 plus or minus 2 radical 3 and then 2 times 3. And hopefully you can see what's going to happen. Okay, the greatest common factor on the numerator is 2 times negative 2 plus or minus radical 3 over 2 times 3. The 2's will cancel and you're left with x equals negative 2 plus or minus radical 3 all over 3. Dee-dee! Let's double check our answer for number 10, and that is correct. Number 25. Alright, let's go ahead and factor this. So, A, B, C. A times C, 5 extra 4, so 225. And our B value is negative 30. Okay, they gotta be the same number, right? Negative 15 and negative 15. How did I get that? Well, right now we've just been taking the B value and dividing by 2. But you can also write out all the factors. Negative 15x, negative 15x. We just split that term, so 25x squared. And then 9. This direction is a 5x minus 3, and then same thing up here. You got 2 of them. It's isolated now, so let's go ahead and take the square root of both sides. There's an invisible 2 in there. Why do I do that? To show you that these cancel. Right here, I'm going to make sure you have the plus or minus. Hopefully you see why I use different colors. You should use the same different colors too, because it helps us learn. Okay, so I have square root of 96. I'm going to guess 16 and 6. I guess, maybe. And it works. Because I get 4 radical 6. Okay, remember you're solving, so you need to do the opposite of PEMDAS. And basically you're going to add 3 instead of divide by 5. Okay, the temptation is to get 3 plus 4 is 7, and that's incorrect. 3 plus or minus 4 radical 6. The reason why, again, is just they're not like terms. Not like terms. 3 plus or minus 4 radical 6 over 5. You would not normally write it like this, but just to make you understand, you are splitting the plus or minus, so it's really 3/5 plus or minus 4 radical 6 over 5. And that's why they're all over 5, because you have a common denominator. Number 12, let's factor A, B, C. A times C is 100. B value is negative 20. Split that in half, negative 10. Let's put it into our box here. Have you guys figured out the secret from the Xbox method? Have you noticed I haven't told you? Math is cruel and unusual, huh? No, it's wonderful. It's a delight. It's a mystery. Okay, here we go. 2x, negative 5, 2x, and negative 5. That works. So it's essentially 2x minus 5 squared. We're going to take the square root by 2x minus 5 equals, what is this? 32, right? 16 and 2, because that becomes 4 radical 2. And don't forget the plus or minus. Okay. So add 5. Remember, the 5 here is going to go to the left of the plus or minus. To the left of the plus or minus. And last thing, we just need to divide by 2. X equals 5 plus or minus 4 radical 2 over 2. And box right answer. And that's it for 5.1.52, solving quadratic with irrational roots. We'll see you guys later. Bye.
Remember not to write all your math papers in ink. Remember to show all your work if you don't want to see. Remember to test, stay, and prepare for it wholly. Because if you don't, then you'll perform poorly.